What was the dumbest thing you believed as a kid? I've said this in a different post, but it fits here too. For some reason when I was little I thought I needed to tell aspirin where to go before I took the "Monsieur, this is for my headache," I'd softly whisper into my hand before gulping them down, clearly without specific directions. How could these little pills know where inside my body they needed to fight pain? Ah, that is seriously so adorable! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. I thought, having an accident always means the person involved is dead afterwards. So at age 8 I thought for about 5 hours that my dad was dead when I heard my mom telling on the phone to someone that he had a small accident at work. Turns out he spilled coffee all over his shirt. The amount of emotions that would have caused wow. That there was humans sitting in control rooms watching tons of traffic cams and turning red light to green lights and vice versa. I thought they sat in a small room directly under the traffic light they were controlling. Eating fruit seeds will cause fruit to grow in your stomach until you explode. For me it was rice. My mom always joked that my stomach would turn into a paddy field just from the sheer amount of rice I ate. My dumb ass actually wanted that, so I could have more rice to eat. That girls had a penis poised inside their ass to deploy when they needed to pee. This ass penis contraption would emerge, pee, then retract. Someone take away my ability to read. Autobots, roll out SSSSSSSS. All dogs were male, all cats were female. My boyfriend calls our male cat she and our female dog he. He's 35. Then when I correct him he makes a joke about us not knowing what they identify as. Not me, but I made my younger sister believe that all water in the world comes from bean sprouts. Just what? This makes no sense and is cracking me up. She pointed out how they tasted like water and I ran with it. That being an adult would be awesome. But the moon followed me. This. All the time, and in my childishness I thought I was the only one it followed. That it was illegal to turn on the light inside the car while driving. Well, it actually is. Especially if you ask my kids who don't want to go to jail for turning on the light inside the car while driving. When I was a preschooler, my mom told me that you weren't allowed to ride a motorcycle or get tattoos unless your mother was dead. One day, outside the grocery store I saw a big, tough-looking dude covered in tats, straddling the loudest motorcycle ever. Damned it, 5-year-old me didn't go up to him and ask, "Hey, is your mom dead?" Quote. Dude looked at me and said, "Yeah," and I was shocked that my mom was right. Pretty sure this must came from some other old Reddit post. That teachers lived at school, like had their own bedrooms and families living in the attic or in the walls in the school or something lol. Also my brother believed that if you shoot a gun in the air, fireworks come out. That. I don't get LMAO. I once was told that there was a ghost that killed people in the gym changing room, bathroom, monsieur. So once I pissed myself instead of going into the bathroom because I didn't want to die. I was told if I kill a frog my mom's tit would fall off. Wait, what? You heard me, haha. Swallowing gum will get it stuck in your stomach for 7 years, don't know where that came from. Big gum just trying to get us sheeple to spit it out and get another piece. I could make bubbles if I eat shampoo then burp. I learned I can't the hard way. Asterisk the hard way asterisko. That Santa existed. Until one night I hid downstairs behind the living room door, after everyone went to bed. And then right on cue Santa came in. Like seriously, it was Santa. He had the hat, beard, full suit and presents. Only to be caught by "Hi monsieur." I started screaming and then realized it was just my mom dressed up. God knows how long she'd been bringing presents downstairs dressed like Santa, just in case we woke up or caught her one year. Goddamn. I got hella confused. I read that as Satan. I need new eyes. Speaking of which, I thought people could just get new eyes, like Mr. Krabs replacing his. I believed that the orphanage where I was living in was just a hotel for kids. That's actually really sweet. I believed that the world was actually in black and white. You can't see color. I think he means back before color TV was a thing. LMAO. Black and white movies led me to the conclusion that reality itself used to be black and white. I used to think the moon was Mexico. Like the actual country, Mexico, was in the sky. That's hysterical. So my thought process was that whenever we go to Mexico the plane goes up. And obviously the only logical place it could be is that big ball in the sky. That would make total sense to me as a kid too, TBH. My dad convinced me and my sister that pig. Was a bad word. The worst word there is. But he couldn't tell me what it meant. 'Cause it meant something so bad. So of course I went around the playground calling people pig. Kids are a gift of God. They are fucking not. I thought women automatically became pregnant after marriage vows. I had a similar one. I don't remember what age, but I guess about the time I started sorta kinda understanding what sex was. I thought it was something people did to get pregnant, and that every time you had sex, you had a kid. I didn't find out until much later that it's a thing people do for fun as well. I'm sure my husband is glad my perspective on that changed. Greater than kids are a gift of God. They're fucking not. You need to read the Bible more. He seems vengeful enough for that to be plausible. If bees made honey, it would only make sense for wasps to make syrup. If they did it, it'd probably be poisonous or some shit. Adults know what they are doing. Women don't poop. I thought girls just thought peeing and pooping was gross and complained the whole time in the bathroom. Monsieur. Woman can confirm. Sheepdogs required the hair in front of their eyes to see. I had asked my dad what would happen if you cut the hair, and he said, you'd blind him. When two people wanted a baby, they went to the doctor to get special pills to get pregnant. I actually knew sex existed, but I thought that it was a very naughty and bad way to get pregnant, and my parents definitely did not do that. I mean, some of them do need special pills. That actors and actresses in dubbed foreign drama shows do speak my native language. Similarly, I believed actors really died when their character on screen did. That one actually makes sense for a kid to think. The moon is made of cheese. Damn you, Wallace and Gromit. That my mom's name was Mom. That I would find love and have kids by the age of 20. Oh well. Or one day you'll find the perfect person for you. Ha, lies. Back then one of my cousins told me that white butterflies are dead people coming back to greet their family members, loved ones. I believed it, and whenever I see white butterflies I try my best to say hello to them. Then one day, I saw a white butterfly near my house and I was curious. I wanted to talk with it, so I tried to catch it, hoping to communicate with the butterfly, but while I was chasing it, I tried to use both of my hands to catch it in my palms. But instead I accidentally killed it. I felt awfully guilty but didn't want to get in trouble, so I kept it from my parents and tried to hide the butterfly's body. Babies come out of the butt, lol. Stomach asterisk. I mean, they can. Not by design, but it's an option. That I was straight. That you would die if you had your hair cut. Is there any reason behind this, or is it just kids making stuff up for no reason? I saw The Lord of the Rings when I was 5 or 6 and I thought that every scary character was under my bed. After watching an episode of Family Guy, the first, successfully convinced my little sister for a year that penises are detachable, that America was a magical faraway place where they had shopping malls, and one day I would get to go there. I've lived in North Carolina my whole life. We even had a mall in our town. I thought if someone died in a movie that they died in real life. Also, once my sister told me that bar soap tasted like ice cream. Monsieur learned the hard way that it doesn't. That lawyers go to jail with their clients if they lose. I believed that when I went for a pee, my nuts would crack open and the piss would come out. Yup, I know. Pretty dumb. Pee is not stored in the balls. Apparently not. As a child I believed that all girls were vegetarian, that there was quicksand and lava everywhere. You'll just be driving down the freeway and encounter quicksand. Every person has 7 doppelgangers throughout the world. I don't know how I came to know this, but I strongly believe that. Maybe you thought one per each continent. Maybe that if someone makes you weep, it means they love you. It was taught to us in the 1st grade. Oh gosh, I can't even begin to describe what an awful thing that is to teach someone. On the bright side, most of us probably forgot it, since we were like 6 in all. Black men have a black sperm. When I was about 4 or 5, my grandmother convinced me that if I misbehaved, one of my family friends would die. That one stuck with me for a while. That friends will never betray you. My eyes will eventually turn into a square if I keep watching TV. I played a lot of The Sims growing up, so I always believed that babies were conceived by a man and a woman kissing over and over, and then eventually the woman would just become pregnant. I legitimately thought I could see through walls. You know, if you cover one eye with your hand and it kind of looks like you can see through your hand. Genuinely thought I could see through walls. But only if I was right at the end of the wall. Never thought to question that. When I was very little, 5-ish, I asked my grandfather how he avoided for being shot in WW2. He told me he hid behind a tree. I believed that for a very long time. I think that's a very sweet way to answer that question for a little kid. A simple, believable explanation that doesn't raise any uncomfortable follow-up questions. I think I would like your grandfather, and I hope he is still with you. Thanks for the reply. Unfortunately, he passed some years ago at 93. So he had a great run. He was a cool guy with a ton of great war stories and led a hell of a life. That the ice cream truck was empty when the bell was ringing. Yep, we were that poor. Smiley face. Geez, that's kinda sad. There was just a smaller person who lived in everyone's stomach and would eat what they ate, which was why empty bellies exist. Heaven and hell. If you died before you became an adult, God would give you a mirror in heaven that would show you what you would have looked like as an adult. I used to tell my friends this as though it were a fact. At one point, I was convinced that professional wrestling was real. I would furiously argue with anyone that Hulk Hogan wasn't just acting when he got worked up and became seemingly invulnerable. I just knew it was real, and nothing anyone else said would convince me. When I was just a little kid, my grandmother would get madder than hell at Hans Schmidt, who was always playing dirty and beating up non-Germans. That I was loved. I love you. I thought that whenever I turn on the TV, a countdown begins. When it reaches 0, a monster jumps out and chases me around the house. The world was fair. The door ajar, lighting cars, was to indicate whether the rattling you were hearing was the door or ajar. That even though there's like thousands of languages in this world, everyone could understand each other but could only speak one language. Until I was about 7, I was firmly convinced that half of 50 was 20 and a half. Not 25, but 20 and a half. I have no basis in logic for this. I was above average in maths. I knew that half of 10 was 5, but half of 50 was 20 and a half. All dogs were boys and all cats were girls. I've been watching too much TV. Tom, MIA joked you that sharks were in the toilet. I'd always go to the bathroom super fast then run out. Those stupid 3 a.m. videos. I thought bangs were genetic, like freckles. Brown cows make chocolate milk. If you swallowed gum, it would stay in your stomach forever. I used to think Pierce Brosnan's name is James Bond. I used to think that adults had it all figured out. That in order to get pregnant, you had to be married and it was from a kiss. Not sure how I thought that was illogical at all. I thought the tooth fairy existed, lol. That eating seeds from fruit will grow in my belly and it'd grow into a tree. 1. I thought it would kill me. 2. It terrified me for years. That when I would finally make semen, that they would be the size of tadpoles. OMG, I had a similar dream where there were semen everywhere and I could see the individual sperms, because they were thicker than a foot. When I was very, very young, and learning to count, I thought numbers went from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then you switch to 10, 20, 30, etc. Eventually, of course, I figured it out. For a while, though, I was pretty confused as to how a person could get 827. I remember before I knew what 100 was, I used to count 70, 80, 90, 10t, 11t, 12t, 13t, and so on. I remember my house number being 123, and I'd always call it 123. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.